Okay, hi. We continue for the second subtopic. The learning outcomes explain the mechanism of water transport from roots to shoots, describe the factors that affect transpiration rate, and explain the mechanism that controls the stomata opening. Plant lose an enormous amount of water through the process of transpiration, where the loss of water vapor from leaf and other aerial parts of the plant. The transpired water must be replaced by the water transported up from the roots. So any water that leave from the plant must be replaced. So the root will take in water in order to replace the removal water. So there are several factors that affect the ascent of xylem sap. Ascent means the ascending, the movement upward of the water. The first one is xylem sap is a dilute solution of water and dissolved mineral. So if the question asks what is xylem sap consists of the dilute solution of water and also dissolved mineral. So this xylem sap rises to height of more than 100 meter in the tallest plant. Okay, just imagine the water from the soil must be entered through the root hair and then be carried up to the whole plant. Okay, so in order to do that, we need some forces. Okay, the plant needs some forces to pull the xylem sap upward. So these forces is called as transpiration cohesion tension mechanism. So this is the mechanism that involved in the pulling xylem sap from the soil to the whole plant. Water is pulled upward by negative pressure in the xylem. Transpiration provides the pull and that the cohesion of water due to the hydrogen bonding transmit the pull along the entire length of the xylem from shoots to the roots. Okay, first thing you must know, the pressure from the soil, okay, the pressure of water from the soil, okay, the water is carried up to the plants due to the presence of the negative pressure. Okay, how this negative pressure presents? If you still remember the process of transpiration that occur through the stomata when the water release out from the plant. So the releasing water must be replaced by the other water. So because of this, it creates some pressure. So that is the negative pressure inside the plant, or more specifically inside the xylem of the plant, so that the negative pressure that built up due to the transpiration process. Transpiration provides the pull and that the cohesion of water due to the hydrogen bonding. So this refer to the hydrogen. Okay, so this is the molecule of water. Okay, the bond between the hydrogen atom and the oxygen atom, this is the hydrogen bonding. So the presence of the hydrogen bonding will help in the pulling xylem sap because this bonding is providing cohesion to the water. Air outside the leaf is drier. Okay, so this is referring to the surrounding, that it has a lower water potential compared to the inside of the leaf. So that's why water will move to the area of higher of water inside of the leaf to the outside, which is low in water potential. Okay, so the water vapor in the air spaces of the leaf. So this referring to the interstitial tissue of the leaf. Okay, so when the water start releasing out through the process of transpiration, in order to replace the releasing water, the water vapor in the air spaces will diffuse down its water potential gradient and exit the leaf via stomata. So just read up these notes, okay, several times. Later you will understand Okay, this is again another explanation of the transpiration pool. Transpiration produces negative pressure in the leaf, which exert a pulling force on water in the xylem. So this pulling force will pull the water into the leaf. Okay, let's see number 1. In transpiration, water vapor, which is shown as the blue dots, okay, diffuse from the moist air spaces of the leaf to the drier air outside via the stomata. So inside the leaf, the water potential or the water content is higher compared to the outside. Okay, at first, the water vapor lost by transpiration is replaced by evaporation from the water film that coats the mesophyll cell. The evaporation of the water film causes the air-water interface to retreat farther into the cell wall and to become more curved. This curvature increases the surface tension and the rate of transpiration. So this is explained on the intersection, okay? The internal section of the leaf, okay? The increased surface tension shown in step 3 pulls the water from surrounding cells and A spaces. The water from the xylem is pulled into the surrounding cells and air spaces to replace the water that was lost. So this step is actually explaining on the process how the water from inside of the leaf is transpirate to the outside. Okay, so this is the process, how it goes. So now we go into cohesion and adhesion in the essence of xylem cell. Okay, cohesion referring to the hydrogen bonding, meaning the bonding that already exists inside the water molecule. But adhesion referring to the bonding between water molecule and its surrounding. For example, the wall of the xylem, okay, between the water molecule and the wall of the xylem, that is called adhesion. The transpirational pull on the xylem sap is transmitted all the way from the leaf to the root tips, even into the soil solution. It is facilitated, okay, is helped by cohesion and adhesion. The cohesion of water due to hydrogen bonding makes it possible to pull a column of xylem sap from above, and the strong addition of water molecules, the hydrogen bonds to hydrophilic walls of the xylem cell. Okay, remember the hydrogen bond inside the water with the xylem cell wall help offset the downward force of gravity. So this is the importance of the addition of water molecule with the xylem to help to offset the downward force of gravity, and the importance of cohesion of water to make it possible, okay, to pull a column of xylem sap from above. Okay, this is again another image of the process of ascending in xylem sap, ascending of water in xylem sap. Okay, so if you can see the negative pressure, so the negative pressure here, okay, increasing. Okay, the negative pressure is increasing. And then this is the detailed image of the xylem sap, which is surrounding by the mesophyll cell. So mesophyll cell will help in order to absorb or to release water, and this is the stomata, okay, which is found on the epidermal layer of leaf. Okay, so this is again another explanation. During transpiration, the water vapor diffuse out through the leaf through the spore of stomata. Water evaporate from mesophyll cell. Before they pass through the stomata, they must passing the mesophyll first. So this is the vein, okay, the vein of the leaf. Okay, right. So the tension pulls water from the vein into the apoplas. Okay, remember where is apoplas? Apoplas is the pathway of water through the cell wall and through the intercellular spaces, and also to the death vessel like vessel and tracheids. Okay, so that is the pathway of the upper plus, and then which in turn pulls the water in the veins of the leaf upward and downward. Okay, upward and outward. Okay, so this is the again another description. So just read this up, okay, and try to understand. So xylem sap ascend by bulk flow. A review. The movement of xylem sap against the gravity, because the xylem carry the water and mineral from downward to upward, which is against the gravity pull. So this is maintained by the transpiration, cohesion, tension mechanism. Okay, just remember this. Okay, what is the meaning by, or what you understand from the transpiration, cohesion, tension mechanism? So this is the movement of water and minerals from the roots and then carried through the xylem to the upward through the throughout the whole plant in order to do transpiration process, which happen in the leaf, okay, which is stomata, involve the stomata. The cohesion is the hydrogen bonding, okay, in the water molecule, and also the adhesion tension, which is the bonding between the molecule and the cell wall of the xylem. Okay, pushing xylem sap, the root pressure. Okay, so this is happened during the night. Okay, as we know that transpiration happen during day, during the hot environment, when the air of the surrounding is very hot, then it create a forces. Okay, it create a force that cause the transpiration to go in higher. But what happened during the night? Okay, at night when transpiration is low, the root cells continue pumping mineral ions into the xylem of the vascular cylinder, lowering the water potential. Okay, at night the roots still absorb the water and minerals from the soil. Okay, even though the transpiration is very low. This is due to the difference in water potential between the soil and also inside the plant. So the water keep flow from the root cortex and then carry up just like transpiration process happen. So this will generate root pressure, a push of xylem sap that sometimes cause more water to enter the leaf than is transpired. So this will result in guttation. So later we will see what is guttation. So this is the guttation. Okay, the exudation of water droplets on tips of grass blades or the leaf margin. So when there is too much of water and the water is less transpired because it is night, so the excess of water will exudate, okay, will release and found as a water droplets and located on the tips of leaf margins. So this is the guttation. Okay, now we go into stomata. How the stomata help to regulate the rate of transpiration? Okay, generally the leaf have broad surface, okay, and high surface to volume ratio. This will help in transpiration process. Both of these will increase the process of photosynthesis and also increase the water loss through the stomata. Plant lose large amount of water by transpiration. If the lost water is not replaced by absorption through the roots, the plant will lose water and wilt. Okay, just imagine if the transpiration process keep happening, but there is no water that will replace the releasing water, so the plant will wilt. Transpiration also result in evaporative cooling, which lower the temperature of a leaf and also prevent the denaturation of various enzymes. Okay, in plant there are also some enzymes that function for their photosynthesis process and other metabolic process in plant. So the enzymes can be denatured if the temperature is more than 40 Celsius. Okay, in order to control or to prevent this temperature getting higher than 40 Celsius, the plant itself must lower its temperature by doing transpiration. So the transpiration rate are influenced by several factors such as the temperature, the air movement, and also the light. Okay, about 90% of the water plant loses escape through the stomata. And this stomata, each of the stomata is flanked or is guarded, okay, by two gut cells, okay. So this gut cell is functioned to control the diameter of the stomata by changing its shape. Okay, the one that changing the shape is the gut cell, not the stomata. So how the gut cell changing their shape? Okay, you just read this description. Alright. Okay, changes in integral pressure. So this is another factor that influence the opening and the closing of the stomata. Result primarily from the reversible uptake and loss of potassium ions by the gut cell. So potassium ions also involved in the opening and closing of the stomata. If you still remember, the ions can cause gradient changes. Okay, if we learn on osmosis process, okay, when there is a changes in the gradient, water will start move from the high concentration to the low concentration. So this is related, the potassium ion is related to the water gradient, okay, in the gut cells. So the gut cell will open and close regarding to the water gradient at that time. And the potassium ion, the presence of potassium ion also involved with the daytime. During daytime, the stomata will be open, and during the night time there will less integral pressure in the gut cell, and the gut cell will be closed. Okay, so now we go into xerophyte. Xerophyte is one of organism plant. Okay, there are plant which can adapt to arid climates. Okay, arid is a very dry climate, okay, like desert. So this kind of plant, they have some modifications on their leaf in order to reduce the rate of transpiration. So now we go into the stomata of these xerophytes. The stomata are concentrated on the lower leaf surface, and they are often located in depression that shelter the pore from the dry wind. Okay, so this shows that this xerophyte, they do not want to do much transpiration. Okay, maybe due to their temperature. In desert, the temperature is very high. In order to keep losing water via the process of transpiration, they must hide. Okay, they must hide their stomata in the area which is covered, which is away from dry wind.